Hello and welcome from the beautiful Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Hello, it is gorgeous here.
A little smoky, but beautiful anyway.
Yes, so today is the day that we are releasing the truth about RV living.
That's right. Here's the deal. We get so many questions all the time and we needed a video where we can address all these questions. So a few days ago, I went to Facebook and I said, what are your RV living questions? 92 questions.
That is so cool.
Now we're thinking, how are we gonna get through 92 questions? We thought, all right, this is how. We're gonna lightning round the questions. We paired them all up, we got rid of the duplicates, and we ended up with 48 questions.
Yes, 48 of your questions. So here's 3 things you should know. Use the information down below. We put timestamps and all the questions so that if the whole video doesn't apply to you, you can at least get the quick and dirty on what you want to know.
Yep, that's right. Just click the show more button, go down there, and then find your question, click the little link, and it'll take you right to the spot.
Yes. Number 2, the winner of our ZAMP giveaway.
As you know, there were 2 giveaways, one on Instagram, one for Patreon. So pop on over to Instagram and we are gonna have the post today with that winner. And for you KYD insiders, there is a video on Patreon announcing the winner there. So go over there and check that out. And lastly, if you're not into these weekday videos where we do Q&As and how-tos and solar and product reviews, don't worry about it. Just stick to the weekend videos. That's where we have each episode traveling through North America and all of the adventure stuff. The weekday stuff is more education because we get so many questions from you.
Okay, so without further ado, let's travel back in time when we were staying at Riverside RV Park in Whistler.
Gorgeous.
Right along the creek. It was so amazing, where we are going to tackle all of your questions.
Okay, coming to you live, pre-recorded from Whistler, British Columbia.
Okay, Katie asked about our laundry. Where do we go? How often do we go? Usually there's a laundromat associated with wherever we stay. We need to do laundry about every 4 days, but usually we stretch it to a week until nobody has a towel.
Yes, and Trish usually occupies like 3 to 5 machines if she's not gonna take them all.
But I do have laundry etiquette. I always leave a couple machines open.
That's right, and so therefore it turns what used to be an all-day effort into just like 90 minutes. It actually is kind of cool.
Says the man who doesn't do the laundry.
Next question, please.
Next question. Homeschooling the kids.
The kids previously went to online school. Trish is now going to take the boys to take over their curriculum and do more traditional homeschool. Tori is going to continue to go to online school because she's a senior and
it's their last year. We're not messing anything up.
And we don't
directly
do anything
college.
with Tori anyway. She's self-sufficient. Okay, what else?
Okay, what are the kids' feelings about being on the road with all different kinds of people? Depends on the day.
Yeah, they're super friendly, and they have this trip has helped them get to know so many people. And so literally, we'll pull into an RV park, and the next day they have like retired friends, they've got younger friends, they've got like 20-year-old friends. It's crazy.
In Tofino, they got a job.
They did. They worked at the golf course.
Yes.
Nuts.
Yes.
All right, next.
Okay, next. Hey, Angela, what are the things that you must have?
What's your must-have?
Okay, well, must-have overall, which is not a thing, is food. If I don't have good food, everybody's cranky. Case in point today, I left to go run some errands. We didn't have any food. I came back. It was a tornado of emotion.
Yes.
So that's number 1. But really, the thing that I must have is my wagon.
Your red wagon?
I have to have it.
I recently just bought this thing to hold my laptop, and it has these legs so it goes in any different shape, so I can be on my laptop in the bed, I can be on the laptop on the couch, I can use it as a standing desk, and it has a fan underneath of it so it keeps my laptop cool. That is my new must-have. Check it out. Definitely check it out. Links to everything we mention on this Q&A are going to be down below. So click the little show more button and everything will be down there that we mentioned.
Okay, I want to see uncut videos. Bad. I want to see uncut videos of your family because you make the rest of us look bad. Ha ha, no. Okay. Here's the thing, that just set your normal life to music and all of a sudden everything becomes epic. Okay, so here's the deal. This is the hardest part because usually we hang out at home with our group of friends and our kids can have an off day, right?
Yeah.
They can be naughty or bad or like whatever, and or super hyper, which is 90% of the time. And we can say to our friends, oh my gosh, today's a hard day, and they get it. When you're with strangers or people you've never met before and your kid has a bad day,
that's just how you are.
Then it just becomes like that's who you are.
I guess you guys aren't like the videos.
Okay, Andrea, I see you cook all the time. How do you keep it from smelling like cooked food? It doesn't really. It's not too bad. Just gotta make sure you do the dishes, which we're not always perfect at.
Yeah, I think some of the older trailers that might have fabric on the ceilings and that kind of stuff,
that would hold smells.
That might hold it, but a lot of the new trailers have like laminate floors, hardwood floors.
Throw those fans on.
Yeah, keep the fans on, keep the door open, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I have some cleaning supplies with essential oils. So like it smells like orange. Afterwards, I wipe everything down.
Yeah.
D says, what is your favorite thing to do with the family off camera?
We don't talk to each other off camera. No, I'm just kidding. We edit videos off camera.
We edit videos, we do school. It's kind of boring when the camera's not on.
We work. I mean, like, we work. You know what? That brings us into a question that I would have asked. A lot of people are saying, it looks like you're on vacation all the time. It does. We're not. You're watching 3 to 4 segments of any given destination, and you're getting about 25 minutes of an entire week.
Yeah.
The whole rest of the time, we're either working, we're editing videos, we're doing school, or we're traveling.
Yes.
So
yeah, we have big travel days.
Yeah,
so.
it's pretty busy.
Yes.
Another question is, I get this all the time, so Mark, what is your actual job? And I've never really addressed it. So I own a medical marketing company where I work with like independent surgeons to like drive new patients and that kind of stuff. So that's what I do.
Okay, Mark, not you,
Okay.
this Mark with a K. Are there too many people RVing these days to get a spot? No.
No, there's definitely not.
No.
Here's the deal though. In the summertime, at a very peak location like Whistler, Banff, Glacier National Park, Coeur d'Alene, Lake Tahoe, all the places that we like to go, during the summer, which it is right now, yeah, you're gonna have a hard time finding reservations on Friday, Saturday night.
But not if you plan a little bit in advance.
So what you do is you become a member of like Harvest Host, Boondockers Welcome. There's all sorts of different things that you can do to accommodate for those weekends, and then just make some reservations Monday through Thursday.
Do you ever feel unsafe boondocking? This is Melanie's question.
Hey Melanie, KYD Insider? No, never. Have
Never.
you?
No. Although the first time we ever boondocked, we had pepper spray everywhere, by the door, by each side of our bed. We didn't sleep at all.
Yeah,
we were sleeping on pins and needles because we were so nervous, but no, not anymore.
Not at all.
Okay.
New arm.
New arm.
Right arm.
Doug, you asked, would you recommend renting out your home for the first year while you're starting out full-timing? Doug, I was a real estate agent for quite some time. I cannot give you your right answer, but I can tell you that if we were to do it all over again, we would rent out a house. Absolutely.
Yes.
So, but you need to check out your current market conditions and if it works for you. And my best piece of advice would be get somebody who could be the middleman so that you don't get stuck with a bad
You
renter.
mean hire a management company to handle the first level of any renter-tenant needs? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and they're surprisingly affordable.
Yes.
So,
and even if they're not, it's worth doing.
it is worth doing because we've had a bad renter before. Okay, so Doug Livingston, how do you keep your black water tank clean since you're constantly using it?
It's a good question, Doug. It used to be when we first got started, I used to do the little Sandy flush thing like 3 times and clean it out all the time. I don't do that anymore. Basically, the only time I do the Sandy flush in the RV within Ginger is when I know we're gonna be dry camping the next day. So tomorrow, we're leaving Whistler and we're headed back down through Vancouver to go to Glacier National Park. We have no idea where we're gonna spend tomorrow. Probably dry camping. So tomorrow morning, I will flush out the black tank. And the reason I do that is it just has a little bit of an odor when you're dry camping, and I think it's just because it doesn't have as much water. So now I flush it out before dry camping. That's kind of the new deal.
This one's for you, Mark. Adri, what are your thoughts on 4-wheel versus 2-wheel?
I'm a 4-wheel drive guy, but we like to use our truck for like skiing and winter stuff when we're not RVing. And plus, I like to have a little higher clearance because you'll notice when you're RVing, like we just went out to go look for bears a couple days ago, and we went on this big dirt road. It's nice to have a high clearance vehicle when the RV is gonna take you to places we go.
Right. Okay, so Rick, he is wondering, is it all fun and games? Let's paraphrase. Or is there some slow hanging around camp times? Oh, Rick, totally, yes. Like we said, it's only 25 minutes once for a whole week of activity. So there is so much admin minutia of everyday living, right?
Yes,
cleaning, chores. What would you do at home? That's what we're doing in different locations. It's just that our locations are fantastic. So when we get our outdoor time, it's awesome.
Okay, Steven asks, when you make campground reservations, how long do you list your rig? The entire length or just the trailer? Just the trailer. And I use what's on the sticker on the trailer. Ginger's 28 feet on the sticker, and that's what I tell him she is, not 31 overall.
Nah. Kimberly, what's it like to travel with a dog? As far as going on excursions for the day or traveling from place to place?
That is such a great question. we are going to do a whole video on traveling and tips on traveling with dogs, but I would say that RV life with dogs is awesome.
Awesome.
And if you have dogs,
makes it even better.
Take them with you. Makes it even better. We do have some ideas, so look for that video coming soon.
Peter is asking, are there any options you would like to add to Ginger or include in your next trailer purchase? Yes.
Yes.
How about 5 extra feet?
Yeah. We have a whole video on how to pick the perfect RV, and go click it and watch it, because that is kind of our philosophy on how to get started with RVing.
Yes.
Now, with that being said, once you have your RV and you're already doing it, then you can start maybe geeking out on like what's the perfect RV and making some improvements. We will likely move to a 5th wheel. That 5th wheel will probably have on-demand hot water, because there are 5 of us.
I love hot
It'll probably
showers.
have a whole bunch of cool stuff. Arm change.
Arm change. Okay,
Eddie.
This guy is a trooper because that thing is heavy. Okay, Eddie, when do you guys get quiet time to yourself? We do have a 17-year-old, so we do get to go out to dinner. We get to go and do some things, and she loves making money.
And we pay the boys to not text us. So
yes, and not fight. Okay,
Brian, keep the rubber on the road, Brian.
Woo! Brian, staying in touch with family.
It's a problem, Brian. Not gonna lie. It is difficult to keep in touch with everyone, and
one thing that we do, which might not work for everyone, but we come back home. So we circle back, like we'll be home for the holidays.
That's right.
And I have to say that we got to see family this year that we would have never been able to see.
Good point. RV living gives you the opportunity to go visit family that lives further away that you wouldn't normally see on certain holidays. So although you might neglect certain friends and family, you get to visit with other friends and family. But it is not ideal, Brian.
And we have to say we have an awesome family that live in Arizona. We have fantastic friends. So it's hard. There's no way to, there's just nothing.
But I feel sorry for our friend group, because it's not as funny with me not around.
Wow.
Okay, I'm gonna switch to the right arm for this question, because it could take a long time. Carol?
Okay, Carol asks, will we ever get another dog?
Yes.
Yes.
We don't know when.
We don't know when.
We don't know what kind of dog. We don't know what kind, but I don't think we'll ever get a golden again.
No.
Just like a really great basketball player, Michael Jordan, number 23, that jersey's retired. The golden retriever is retired for us. Maddie was too good of a dog to ever get another dog to compare to.
And quite frankly, she wasn't as amazing as she is until she was about 3.5, 4.
Good point.
And I think the inside of our trailer, Maddie as a puppy would be destroyed.
Totally gone.
So we can't go through a puppy phase with a big dog. So I don't know, or we don't know, but we know that at the right time, the perfect dog is going to come into our life.
That's right.
Okay, Shirley. Hey, Shirley. Okay, your question is, what's for dinner? And Shirley asked us to make a whole segment called What's for Dinner.
Which is a good idea.
That's an awesome idea.
Great idea.
So typically we go to the grocery store. I go to the grocery store about every 3 days. So that gets us, 3 dinners, because our fridge isn't that big.
Yeah.
So, and we like to eat fresh food, fresh meats. This is for you from Chris. Towing with airbags.
I love my airbags. Of course, they had to be installed correctly. You can click that video to find out how they were installed incorrectly. But Firestone Ride Right makes fantastic airbags. It keeps the truck level and it rides smooth. Highly recommend.
Yes. Okay, Pam Rogers says, the basics. After driving all day, when you open the door, how many times do you stop at the top of the stairs and sigh because things have shifted? After a year plus on the road, have you changed the way you organize the kitchen? No, I use those little spring rod things as things don't move so much. My closet, on the other hand, sometimes can be a mess, but otherwise it's not too bad.
Move around too much.
You've got to move everything from the shower to the tub every time we move, so that's not flying
I tell you
around.
what does kind of get on your nerves. If you don't have time to really properly clean up the trailer before you go to a new site, we've learned that can be a bit of a crap out. So we like to get everything totally clean and the bed made before we go to the next site, so we're kind of starting fresh every time, particularly if you're dry camping. Even more important if you're going to be dry camping.
I cannot go into a boondocking situation with a dirty rig and no laundry and no food. Okay, Emily, you're talking about kids here. You would like advice or opinions from us and others, and even kids, about RVing full-time. I think that the summer is a fantastic time to RV full-time. There's so many kids, it's like chock full, it's a huge play date, it's awesome. During the school year, it's a challenge. I mean, what else can you say?
Not a lot of kids out here.
Friends, you're not doing play dates, there's sports, it's a challenge, but everything has the other side. They are getting experiences that they would not have in school. And we're gonna circle back. So like I said before, we circle back so we go back home and we can be involved in different kinds of things on the road and back at home.
And a video with the kids, a Q&A video with the kids is coming.
Yes. Mike Harris, and thanks in part to you guys, we're starting the process of changing over to full-time RV living.
Congrats, Mike.
That's so cool. What's the hardest part about full-timing, or what's the biggest unexpected thing you have to deal with?
I would say the biggest unexpected thing that we did not realize before we went into full-timing is that there is an element of decision fatigue. We're always planning. We were planning this morning, we were planning last night. Banff had too much smoke. We can't go to Banff now. We're so sad. So now we're gonna have to go to Glacier National Park. We're showing up last minute. There's no reservations. Like you're just always planning. And that's really fun in the beginning. And then after a while, you're like, where are we staying next week? And so you have to go back to the maps. You have to go back to Google. You have to start finding RV parks. So decision fatigue, I think, sets in with a lot of full-timers.
I think when you have a busy week at home, you're like, this weekend, I'm gonna sleep in. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna chill and watch some YouTube. There's none of that.
There's not a lot of downtime. For us, we're like really busy between working and the videos, plus the kids and travel. Like we've no time.
No. First, let me just say thank you to people like Lynn, Jennifer, Jackie, all kinds of really great questions, but they were double questions.
Previously answered.
So Marc Wise says, how do you manage your mail while you're on the road?
Awesome.
Good question.
Awesome company called Traveling Mailbox. All of our mail is scanned and emailed to us every day. If we want to open something up, we click the little link, and an hour later, the contents of that mail is scanned into a PDF file, and we can store all of our mail into PDFs. It's wonderful. It's $20 a month, and we will never go back to traditional mail ever. So if you're interested in checking that out, there's a link down below with all the other links of the stuff that we mentioned.
Yes. Okay, let's see. Katie, do the kids ever get bored? Yes,
all the time.
Yes, all
it's
the
crazy.
time.
They even get bored playing like video games because their behavior acts up because they're like bored playing video games, and they're bored doing this, and like they think it's our job to entertain them. Like, yes.
Yes, they get bored. So that is a challenge too, because there's no like, I'm gonna drop you off at the community pool and you're gonna meet up with all your friends, and then I'm gonna go grocery shopping by myself. There's none of that anymore. So that's a challenge, but we're willing to take it on.
Yeah.
What is the gross weight of your trailer? How much do you feel comfortable hauling?
Ginger weighs 5,900 pounds dry, and she weighs 9,200 pounds loaded. My truck is a 2013 F-150 with the 6.2 Raptor engine. It can absolutely haul Ginger with no problems. We go up hills at 60 miles per hour. However, the limitation of my truck, because it's a half-ton truck, is the cargo weight capacity. And so I think that's set to 1,500 pounds, which with the tongue weight and the bikes and the capacity, we're pushing the limit. But then I have a weight distribution system which transfers some of the weight back to the trailer. So I'm on the fence. It's been doing absolutely great in the last 15 months. We are considering moving to diesel now that we know that we love RV living, and we know we're going to continue to do this. But again, go back and watch how to pick the perfect RV. Get into whatever you can get into to make your RV dream happen.
Yes.
And then start looking at the perfect rig.
Right.
Had we started looking at like great big giant fifth wheels and diesel trucks, we might not have made the decision because of the cost, and we could have missed our window. If we would have missed our window 15 months ago, none of this might have happened. And it's important to realize your window to RV life might be small, but don't let equipment stand in the way of making your dream happen.
Yes, and there's a season for everything, right? Not everybody wants to go live full time. Some people just want a great weekend trip. Well, you don't need the same rig.
Go full time for 3 months, make great memories, and then go back to work. If you're between jobs, or some people are moving from like Maine to California, and they're like, we're gonna take a month and we're gonna go RV live across the country for a month. Go out for 6 months, go out for a year, whatever. It doesn't have to be this perfect thing in your head. Just go make it happen.
Just go, do, see, explore, have fun. Hey, Katie, one more question here. It says, what about homesickness? Ooh, that's a good one. Everybody is different. We knew that we were gonna go back and visit periodically, but we had a funny story. Bobby Joe, she shared with us, and she said when they went on their big trip, they were starting to feel a little homesick for Maine.
They were.
And then they went on this big, huge trip, and then they went home and they were like, well, I'm over that.
Getting over homesickness only takes a few days, apparently.
So and then they're like planning their next big trip. So I don't know, it depends on what kind of person you are, what kind of connections you have, and how you're able to maintain those connections. But maybe with a little forethought, a little pre-planning, a little Skype sessions with the people you love the most, you can get through that.
Okay, we're gonna go find a new place to stay.
Laura is asking, what is your best advice for working successfully on the road?
Successfully?
Outside of connectivity. So obviously you need a connection, but
I
They
would
want
say
tips and tricks.
I would say creating a schedule that is really going to work for you.
Yes.
I think that's kind of one of the difficult things about RV life in general is the lack of schedule. So if you can kind of create a schedule that you do this on certain days of the week, you're going to feel a lot more productive, and you're not going to feel guilty when you're off doing something in the middle of the week that you would normally not be doing, because you know that on this part of the week you're going to take care of that.
I think, and also picking travel days so that you know I don't travel on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because those are the biggest office days.
Another tip, when you're going to go into a national park, I don't care what national park it is, your Wi-Fi and your cell is going to be terrible. So plan your national parks on the weekends, assuming that if you're working remotely that on Friday, Saturday, Sunday you'd probably be more likely to be away. Be in Glacier National Park, be in Zion, be in Yosemite on the weekends.
That's only advice for people who have a typical work week.
That's right.
Because we would like to be in a national park on a weekday because the crowds are less. Come to our new location. It's actually our old location. But it's new again.
It is.
Okay, ready? Sandy, she says, I wonder about your daughter and sons. This is a great experience, but don't they miss being home?
Yes.
What about their buddies?
Yeah.
All of that. They even, she says, for Tori, going on dates, hanging out with her girlfriends.
Dates.
The boys, hanging out with their friends, team sports, all of that. First of all, Tori, we do make an effort to make sure she goes back for proms, dances.
Yep.
She goes back and hangs out at actually 2 different schools.
And
The
between
school-
season 1 and season 2, between season 2 and season 3, we were home and they were connecting with their friends then.
Yes, and we don't have kids that travel like some of our friends nationwide
Yeah.
for their sports. They're competitive.
Yep.
So we don't have that so much.
Yeah, I grew up with like outdoor sports, you know, like mountain biking, snow skiing, water skiing, rock climbing, those triathlons. So
Yes.
like,
So that's kind of what the boys are
Yeah.
doing. And then Tori's out exercising with us. She's communicating with other friends. She has tons of friends all over the place, so she ends up visiting them.
I mean, it is a problem. If you've got kids that are really plugged into that social clique, that social scene.
Their group.
Yeah.
They're,
and they're playing those team sports that are like, yeah, it's definitely a sacrifice.
I don't know that we could have done it if we had kids that were doing that.
I don't think so. I think we would have waited.
Alan asks, how are the truck and trailer holding up?
Pretty good. The truck has 93,000 miles on it, and all I've done is change the oil and that fuse in the last episode. And Ginger, you know, she's had some things that she's needed, like new suspension and new tires, but generally speaking, you know, it's done all right. I think one of the misconceptions is if you're gonna buy a brand new trailer that it's gonna be like
you're not going to need to do repairs or upgrades?
Yeah, that's not true.
That's
That's not true at all. In fact, you know, just be aware that when you buy a new trailer, you're gonna have to make those improvements to either working with the manufacturer on it or making the upgrades yourself.
Yeah, there's definitely things to fix. Okay, Tracy, were you both on board with moving into the RV, or did you have to convince one or the other?
We get this question a lot, and we are going to do an entire video on this subject. But I would say that YouTube and Trisha's podcast kind of helped us both get on the same page. Not to get all like personal development on you, but like if you choose to watch certain YouTube channels and listen to certain podcasts and read certain books, you will likely end up accomplishing what you are working toward a lot faster.
Yes, because you'll get ideas that you didn't have access to.
That's
I read
right.
a book once and it says, we don't have time to make all the mistakes in life. So go follow somebody who's done what you want to do and figure out what they've learned and then start applying it. Tour, have you ever had moments where you thought that this is over and you need to go back to normal life? And if so, why are you still on the road?
Yeah, that has definitely happened, and I would say that we still have a desire to have a piece of a normal life, and I think maybe we will like set up home base somewhere into a place that maybe we can put on a vacation rental market, so that when we're home we have a place to kind of regroup, and when we're away that home is paying for itself. So that's kind of like
that's where we're headed.
That's kind of the direction we're going, so that way we can keep up the videos and keep up the travel. But you know, there's definitely a piece of normal life that's great, and I don't think there's any one right answer. I think you start and then you like what works for you. Some people like to be gone for a month, some people like to be gone for a year. We've known retired couples have been gone for 8 to 10 plus years.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Susan, she says, Trisha, we're going full time in a fifth wheel around March. I'm trying to figure out what small appliances to take. I have an electric pressure cooker, crock pot, panini grill for hot dogs and hamburgers, Nesco 5-quart roaster. I was thinking of an induction cooktop.
There's a picture of her kitchen too.
But there's a picture of her kitchen and it's
big.
like 5 times as big as our kitchen.
Yeah, and Susan actually has also sent us an email, and I am so sorry we haven't got back to you yet, and this is a good opportunity to say say that if you email us, we will get back to you, but it sometimes takes a week or two.
Yes. So let's say that everything in your kitchen should do dual purpose, right? So I have a tiny kitchen, so I'm probably not the best to ask, but everything in there has to, like, I don't even have small appliances because I don't have anywhere to put them.
Yeah.
But I certainly would have a few more if I could. Like I would have a crock pot. And then an induction oven. Yeah, probably, maybe I would.
So unless if you can figure out how to get that panini maker to also make waffles, leave it at home.
Matthew, he says, they both work, but they're gonna go on the road. And so they're gonna go from working and seeing each other at night to being with each other 24/7 in a 36-foot square box, okay?
Yes.
So he's like, are we gonna get tired of each other? Essentially is what he's saying. It's okay for you guys to go do separate things once in a while. I also think that it's cool to find a local place to go work out or go get involved, go do a charity project, do something where you can go out and come back and talk about what you did, because if it's just the two of you.
And just because you're in a 200 or 300 square feet doesn't actually mean you're with each other. Like if I'm sitting and editing a video or working on a project or whatnot, I'm in the trailer, but it's not like we're talking. I mean, it's like it could be theoretically a different room, even though we're together.
Or you listen to audiobooks, which you like, and it kind of feels like you're in a whole nother world, and then you get to have stuff to bring back to the conversation. Okay, Senor Marc Norris. How well did the budget you planned before starting the adventure line up with what your budget actually end up being?
Well, I'd actually say pretty well, because as I've said before, RV living costs what you want to make it cost.
Yeah.
If you want to spend $25 a night at an RV resort, then you'll spend $25. If you want to spend $50, you'll spend $50. If you want to go be at a beachfront and camp golf, then you're going to spend $95.
A lot.
So it's up to you where you spend. If you want to spend $0, then you go BLM. How much you want to spend on fuel depends on how much you want to move.
Yes.
We move like once a week, and so we spend about $7.50 a month in fuel. Other people could move like twice a month and spend a third. We get 8 miles to the gallon, diesel's gonna get 14. I don't know, there's just so many factors when it comes to money. That's why we don't like talk specifically about the numbers, because someone says, how much does it cost? It's like, I don't know, how much does it cost for you? It's almost like saying, how much does it cost to live in the city that you live in now? Well, where do you live? And what do you drive? And where do you work? So it's hard for us to answer the question.
There is more room to cut back because there's things that you don't need.
There are more options. It's a simpler way of living. I think one of the things I like about it the most is that we don't have that constant need to be buying things. We're not watching TV.
There's nowhere to put it.
There's nowhere to put it. I love that. We're not also being influenced by mainstream media and commercials that like, ooh, look at that, we need that. Yeah.
I need that.
Yeah. I mean, the Joneses, if they are out here, I mean, their Class A is pretty nice.
But what can we do about it? Nothing.
Nothing.
Anita, water consumption during dry camping. What are your best tips?
Well, our best tip for dry camping is that we have this red container that Trish puts in the sink when we are when we're doing dishes or just washing our hands, that all that water goes into the red bucket, and then we can just like find a place to go dump the red bucket.
Just as long as you're not using chemicals that would be harmful to the environment when you dump it.
Yeah.
And someone else said save that water and use it in the toilet.
Yeah, and
so you can do that.
Take that water and put it down your black tank, because typically your black tank's not going to fill up that fast. So that's another good idea. So that's really our only water conservation dry camping tip.
Avril, you talk a little bit about homeschool, but I think we answered that already. And then you said, what are some of the first things you ditched when you realized you didn't need to bring it?
Such a great question.
I ditched clothes.
Even Tori ditched clothes.
Yes.
Amazing. I had a whole bunch of tools. Like I bought a rake. I don't know why I bought a rake. I carried it around for a year. It was still hard to get rid of that rake.
Yes.
But I brought a rake. I have a whole bunch of other tools in the back of my truck. I don't think I've opened up those big yellow containers once. There's just that thought that you're gonna need that 200-foot extension cord. I better have it. I brought a light from the boat, like a spotlight. I don't know, I have extra everything.
Yeah.
I never needed it. I still can't throw it away. Good luck with that.
Listen, we camp for short trips so far. We really don't eat out. Can you give me some tips for feeding a family of 5 in a small space? Well, Kristen, if you have a big grill, one of the things that I love to do, say it's like for a 3-day weekend, grill like 2.5 times more chicken than you would actually need for one dinner. Chop it up into tiny little things. put it in the fridge in baggies, and then all of a sudden you have like lunch, you have dinner, you have snacks, because kids are hungry all the time. You know this, I know this, it's ridiculous. And the last thing you want to do is feed them chips all the time.
Yep.
So then I say there's cucumbers, there's chicken, there's whatever already bagged. But making extra is really great. Hey, Jessica says, be honest, who's the most grumpy in your group?
Depends on the day.
Depends on the day. We all take turns.
We do all take turns.
Yes, we all have grumpy. Someone asks, how do you stay fit?
Good question.
I don't know if we can say we stay fit, but we try.
We do try. So we work out about 3 to 4 days a week on average.
On a good week?
On a good week, so let's say 3. And we typically do like a 1 or 2 mile run, and then we do a whole bunch of body weight stuff. Lunges, push-ups, step-ups, sit-ups, crunches, jumping jacks, all that type of stuff.
And it goes way better when the kids get to boss us around.
Yes, and so we do that. But I'll tell you what, the best way to stay fit is in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And that's where all the discipline comes in. And I will tell you that, you know, it is maybe a little easier to stay fit in RV because you're always active.
But harder because everybody around you is like on vacation and they're like totally drinking like a lot.
It could be happy hour every night if you wanted.
Like dips and everything is so good and creamy and awesome, and you're like, no. Oscar says, hola familia, ¿qué es lo más difícil de difícil, remember we're newbies at this, okay? Difícil de estar siempre en movimiento.
It's difficult to move every week. So
no, not so much.
No.
Not too
Well, not when you're in the mental attitude of moving every week. I think it would be difficult to move every week if we were like maintaining another home, or we're going home and then back out on the road. But
it's a lot of work to bring an RV home, empty it out, clean it out, store it, and then do it again.
But when you're in the mindset of full timing and that's what you're doing, then that's what you're doing. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, I went on this trip for 3 weeks and it was a disaster. I don't know how you guys do it. Well, that's not full timing. That's a trip for 3 weeks. And you know you're gonna be home in 3 weeks. So you're not really mentally prepared for making some of the corrections and the improvements that you will have to have a full-time lifestyle. And that's important. So when we told the kids that we were gonna do this, I prepared them by saying, look, it's gonna be great, and then it's gonna get like really hard, and then it's gonna get great again. So just be prepared for the dip. I prepared them for the dip. And we didn't go through a too hard of a dip, but that's because they were prepared for it.
Yes.
Had I not told them it was gonna get hard a month or 2 in, I think everybody would have been like, you know, after the honeymoon wears off, I think everyone would have been a little concerned.
Gotten this from quite a few people, and it's about medical insurance.
Oh, I wish I had a good answer for you. We have been paying for private medical insurance for about 15 years, and because it's not part of the Affordable Health Care Act, we technically have coverage across the country. Anything under the Affordable Health Care Act doesn't have coverage under the country. It's only your home state. Our premiums have tripled. Our deductibles have tripled.
It's terrible.
It's not good.
It's one of our biggest expenses.
It is, and it's preventing a lot of people from doing this. I will say there are health share groups. There are Christian health share groups. You might want to look into those.
We've never been part of one.
We haven't been part of them, so I even hate I don't even like mentioning it because we don't have experience with it, but I have talked to other RVers that are part of it. It's like a third of what we pay, and it seems pretty good, so you can check into that. I wish we had better advice for you.
Okay, so Jim, to piggyback on that health insurance question, he asked, how do we get in our dentist and doctor's appointments?
Yeah, all the routine checkups.
Well, we go back home.
Yeah.
So we go back home and we have those, but we've had a few things on the road because if you have kids, they're gonna get bumps and bruises, and you can call into your doctor's office and the RN will usually answer most questions.
Yeah, it's been all right.
Yeah. So let's see here. How I like Lynn's. How often does it get too small, and what do you do when that happens?
We noticed that when Oregon happened to get really cold, the jackets started coming out, and we weren't hanging out outside. And wow, did the trailer
get tight.
It really got tight.
And
it occurred to us that like, wow, we've been like in really good weather for all this time.
Yes, we do have to remind ourselves from time to time, because it is a very small rig, that it is just a tool to get us where we want to go.
Point.
Sometimes I loved fixing up a room or decorating for a season, and I was like proud of it. And I have to remember, this is not my house. This is a tool to go and see things, and that is what we're after.
That's a great point. I mean, if you know, RVing's fun, But I would say, from my perspective, don't let RVing be the hobby. Let travel and adventure and exploration be the hobby, and keep RV as the tool to get you there. It's so easy to get wrapped up into like the perfect rig and like making RVing the hobby and to improve it and what kind of stuff.
Yes.
It pales in comparison to why you bought the RV in the first place.
Dee Dee asks, what is your least favorite thing about your camper?
What do you think?
Oh my gosh, I cannot stand that we can't sit comfortably next to each other. So we're constantly in our room, sitting in our bed, like we make the bed and then we sit in it, and it just doesn't feel right. I hate being
the boys occupy the
dinette,
and then if we don't want to sit outside, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Seating is a problem, which is why we're like just now starting to look at different rigs.
So I think that is.
But Ginger's been a great rig.
Oh my gosh, Ginger has been a great rig. She's seen so much.
She really has.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so what else?
All right, there you have it. Those are the Q&A questions that you asked. I hope you got your question answered out of that. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new.
And we are going to dive deeper on things like dogs, homeschooling, food, because those topics need a full video. But today was the quick and dirty. We had to answer. We speed lightning as fast as we could. It was like super slow lightning. Wah.
And congratulations to the people that won the ZAMP Solar giveaway. There's more of those to come.
Yes.
And we will see you this weekend with another episode of Keep Your Daydream.
Woohoo! Bye, guys.